Dean, we don't have an 11 from Australia. Are you settled on your team?
No, not yet. Obviously, having an afternoon practice, we've yet to have another look at the wicket. So yeah, we obviously have a few hours to make that decision still. So I guess it's one of those scenarios where you're going to have to wait for the toss, very much like Australia. So yeah, currently we can't confirm anything just yet.
What are, do you think, the key decisions you've got to make for this one? And does Simon Harmer come into the mix as either a second spinner or as the first choice spinner?
Definitely, I think being the nature of what the wicket's been like in Sydney, it has been a little bit lower and slower with a bit of turn. It might definitely force our hand to play two spinners. Kesh will still be our number one spinner going forward. He's definitely deserving of that position. We've got to make another change in our batting lineup. Tennis the Brain's not here as he's gone home for the birth of his daughter. So yeah, we've got a few decisions to make going into tomorrow. Yeah.
Just about those decisions, Dean, because the batting hasn't fired, are you just tempted, or sort of is your hand forced to bring in an extra batter, or are you still comfortable with just the format of the side with 5 bowlers?
Yeah, I'm still a 6-5 option what I'm thinking at the moment. But again, all options on the table still for us. To play 7 batters would be a massive call for us, or a massive ask for our bowling unit to obviously cover those 4 spots. Workload has been quite hectic on our fast bowlers of late, especially in the last test where they really pushed quite a few numbers with regards to overs bowled. So to expect them to come into a test match and only have 4 bowlers, potentially only 3 seamers, is quite a big ask for them to perform that workload. But yeah, as mentioned earlier, the options are on the table still, and yeah, we need to make those decisions by tonight.
When someone's batting as well as Kyle is obviously stock of why is he batting at 6? Maybe he should bat higher up the order, just in terms of his technique. But are you still comfortable because he's keeping wickets as well?
You can't hide into Test cricket. The top 5 we need to obviously find a way to deal with and negate the demands of batting discipline in Test cricket. I think Kyle's actually been brilliant for us at 6. Yeah, I don't think moving him around is going to help us out at all. I don't think it's going to help him out, and I don't think it's fair for him, especially. He's still pretty young in his Test career, and he's only really finding his feet with regards to his batting position. So I think it will be quite unfair to ask him to go perform another role elsewhere.
Obviously, Rusty was last one in. Oh well, we'll talk about that. So you can answer after. Yeah, Rusty was obviously the last one in. We've also got Harry out here. What do you think those guys bring to the table, and is it pretty much just looking at those 2 as possible replacement for Tim?
Yeah, I think our only batting options are those 2. That's pretty clear cut just by squad composition and makeup. Rusty's had quite an extended period at the Test level, so you can always look at it. He brings a little bit more experience to the role, and then you look at a guy like Heinrich, who's immensely talented and maybe he's deserving of a chance now, and an extended chance as well. So yeah, all those options are going to be made, I guess. All those decisions will be made this afternoon, and yeah, hopefully whatever we do, we can put on a better spectacle than what we've had in the past 2 games.
Pat Cummins talked about looking ahead to India, which has long been regarded as Australia's last frontier. If they beat you here, they qualify for Test Cricket's World Championship final. This is no dead rubber. Can you play wrecker for that sort of plan, with Australia looking to be on the cusp of a...
You're going to have to explain your wrecker analogy.
Well, can you scupper their plans?
Definitely. I think we've also got a lot to play for with regards to that final in June next year, or whenever it is. But yeah, we've still got, that's a massive incentive for us. And like for me, you play every Test match like it's your last, and yeah, hopefully, like I mentioned, we can put on a better spectacle come this time round. We always want to have play really tough Test cricket. We always want to be a thorn in the side in the opposition, and if we can disrupt Australia's potential plans for that final, yeah, it's definitely part of the work in progress for this game.
You've mentioned a couple of times putting on a better spectacle. It's obviously been a frustrating tour so far. Do the top 5 feel like you've got a bit of a point to prove in this match?
Definitely, I think I think talk is cheap at the moment, and we need to go out and perform it. And I think actions is where we are at the moment. We really got to make amends for our positions that we have within the side. Very frustrating. Just purely knowing that what we've brought along from a squad point of view, those players are really talented, and unfortunately it hasn't gone our way this time. But I still feel there's a lot to play for in this third test. Playing for a lot of pride, playing for the potential position in the final of the WTC. Still a lot to play for with regards to this game.
Dean, with no Cameron Green, no Mitchell Stark, is this your best chance to strike and take Australia down on home soil?
Look, I'm pretty sure whoever they bring into the 11 is gonna be quality cricketers as well. So I'm definitely not viewing it like that. I will be a little bit narrow-minded if you think in that way, because just purely knowing that Australia's also got talent coming into their team, and those players are going to they're going to want to make a massive statement going forward. For me, it's all about focusing right messaging into our group and giving ourselves the best opportunity again to compete and win this third test and go home with a little bit more pride.
You mentioned the top order stuff quite a bit there. Are you expecting a bit of a different challenge here, potentially 2 spinners that you'll come up against and potentially a bit more reverse swing?
Very much aware of the possibilities of what we might face at Sydney, but that's okay. We're still preparing very well. You have to prepare well as a test cricketer, just to give yourself that extra edge. And hopefully we're able to achieve that now after today's practice. We're very mindful of there's a possibility of playing against 2 spinners, and reverse swing might also play a factor over here.
Dean, obviously batting issues have dated back beyond this series, hasn't just been this one. Can one test here sort of be the turning point for where your batting is as a team, or the bigger issues sort of need to be addressed given?
I think where we are currently, because we've had quite a few injuries, especially in our batting department, guys have to take opportunities when it comes their way. It's just obviously strengthening your player pool. I still see this test match, and we've got another 2 more coming up against West Indies back home. I still see those as massive opportunities for those guys if they get those chances to play. It's all about strength in numbers, I guess. Currently, we maybe haven't executed it as maybe thought out before coming here. Still a massive responsibility and expectation for guys to try and take their opportunities.
Just the previous question about the pitch here and the kind of things that you might face. Are they the sort of conditions that you think will actually be better suited for you guys, or more of a challenge?
Oh, tough one, that. Okay, have to go both ways then. No, I think either way, whatever you get to face in Test cricket, especially against Australia, is going to be a tough challenge. It's how you rise up to the opportunity, and how you want to grasp the challenge ahead of you. For me, I always see it as a challenge, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our squad members see that as well. Whether it swings or spins or nips or keeps low or steep bounce, you still have to negate and get through it. That's obviously the challenge of playing the game of Test cricket. You get tested in all different areas of the game, and this is just another hurdle or opportunity which I view it as for you to become a better cricketer going forward.
Well done, Cool. Dean, we've got just a couple more with now, then we'll look to round up the paper.
Every new year starts as it being a big year for each cricket team, and you've touched on the World Test Championship final still being a carrot for you guys. But just with where South African cricket is at the moment, you've got the SA20 starting next week. Bit of a debate about quite where Test cricket sits in South Africa's hierarchy going forward. Does it feel like a big year broadly for South African cricket coming up? I
think it's a big year for us every year, honestly. I don't think a lot of things go in our favour, but we've got to deal with what we can deal with. I think the disappointing factor that we aren't playing more tests this coming year is it obviously, I think, sits with a lot of players that they would like to be playing a lot more. Again, we can't make those decisions. It would be nice if we could have a massive influence in that. I guess the administrators of the game back home, they feel that we need to obviously establish something in order to have revenue going forward, and then maybe potentially in a couple of years' time, we can obviously incorporate more tests going forward in the schedule. So yeah, it's a really tough one to be a part of, but you got to deal with it whichever way you see fit.
Dean, we heard from Marco yesterday, very impressive young man early in his career, but he said from himself and his teammates, he wants to see people wear body blows, dig deeper when they're bowling, bowl faster. Is that coming a message from you, or is he just taking it upon himself?
I think that's him as a character, but I think if you see our working relationship with regards to captain and player, I would think those are the kind of words that I would say to him, but I don't have to, because I think he's got quite a mature head on his shoulders already at a young age, which is a massive asset to have. I think he's only 23, 22 now. And yeah, I think a youngster being thrown into the deep end of Test cricket, he's still learning his trade here. I think he's handling himself brilliantly. So I think he's going to grow a lot quicker, and him being exposed to a lot of international cricket, be it IPL as well, is definitely leading him into the right journey as a cricket player. So yeah, he's got a very strong mind, and it's nice to have those guys around that's still willing to play the old school kind of style of Test cricket. It's definitely what I appeal to. If that's the way he views it, which I know he does view it like that, it's kind of nice to have those guys still in your corner.
Great. Any last question? Yep. Right.
Sorry, just going back to what you're talking about, this being a crucial year and guys playing fewer test matches. Does that make you, or how does that put your next 2 years into perspective as the test captain and as a test cricketer?
Yeah. Well, I think over the next 2 years we only got 12 to play. Many years ago we played 12 a year, which was nice. Again, you've got to play every test like it's your last. Whether you get 6, 8, 10 tests a year, you've got to make the utmost for those opportunities that come your way. Yeah, I just see it as those 6 games that we play in the next cycle. We need to throw everything at it. Whether it's 6, whether it's 14. For me, every game needs to be played like your last, and yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone views it like that as well with regards to the squad.